Welcome to Charting Cryptos and Commodities. Always good to have you with us. Let's jump into these charts. We'll hit the cryptos first, then get into the commodities. Some interesting things in commodities for you to see. Where are we now on cryptos? Well, of course, we can go all the way back to the highs that we had when cryptocurrency boomed up to a high of $69,000 on Bitcoin. And of course, started plummeting down. And of course, over the last few weeks, these last 2 weeks, it's sort of stopped that hammer down. Doesn't mean it's recovering, just sort of sliding sideways below that 200 EMA. Folks, we'll continue to track cryptos. We'll hope the market will turn around at some point, waiting for market capitulation. When is that? That's when nobody wants to own the asset anymore. They think it's junk and it settles out. How low will it go? I don't know. Could this be the bottom? Possible. Could it go down to 10,000? Possible. Could it go down to 5,000? Possible. Will it recover? Probably at some point once everybody gives up on it. So we'll continue to look at it in fact, we look at it each and every day, and we'll continue to cover cryptos each and every week until that occurs. What do we see with Ethereum? Pretty much the same thing. Remember, we talk about this over and over again. See Bitcoin as the tide coming into, going out of the harbor, and all the other cryptocurrencies are just the boats floating in that water. Remember, Bitcoin is the big dog. It is what stirs the pot. It is the big tidal wave. Everything else moves in accordance with it. Now, of course, you can have some of these individual ones move up, down, everywhere. But the overall market, we're going to see with the big dog, and that is going to be Bitcoin. And again, you can watch Ethereum and the others many times move very similar to it. Not exactly, but remember, Bitcoin is what is bringing the tide in. So the rest of them, can they, just like a harbor, you can have harbors that have higher points. You sink down and you hit the mud bottom quicker than somewhere else that might have been more dug out. Maybe you're tied up to the dock tighter and you're just going to hang there on literally your mooring lines, but don't expect that to last. Again, we'll continue to watch, see where things go. We, of course, track for you each and every day XBTF, which is the VanEck Bitcoin Strategy ETF. It is traded like a stock. You get it. It's in the market. You don't have to have a crypto exchange account. It's an ETF. You can buy it at your online broker. So start practice trading that as we start seeing things turn around and all. You also have BITI, which is the inverse. So that can be fun too if you want to practice trade a few things as things move around. Now, let's look at where we are in BITW. What is that? Well, that is the top 10 crypto index fund. It is rated, it is balanced, weighted, not rated, weighted based upon market share. So of course the big dog is Bitcoin, but the others are thrown in there too. And what do you see? Very similar to Bitcoin, very similar to Ethereum, down for 3 weeks, and over the last 2 weeks, sort of sliding sideways. Again, we'll continue to watch. We can see again where things peaked out at the high back last year. That was around, September or so. And then, of course, we've seen things peel down quite a bit. So we'll keep watching, keep waiting. Again, all you can do is track it, wait for things to turn around. We can't make it happen. It will happen on its own. And when it does, we will be here each and every day, each and every week. Let's move over to commodities. I'm starting by the biggest downs for the day. Check this out. You listen to the news, you hear about natural gas. Oh, it's going to be so expensive. Look at this. Natural gas peaked back in late August, down, popped up a couple of weeks ago a little bit in November, but then just hammering down just for the day today, down 4.15%. What about oil? Oil down 4+% for the day, way off its peak back in June. And again, going down over the last 4 weeks. Here's another interesting one for you. Let's look at gasoline. Gasoline peaked back in the late May, early June time frame. Down many weeks, popped up over starting the week beginning October the 3rd and ending the week beginning November the 7th, and going into the 4th week, moving back down again. Isn't that fascinating? It's good news at the pump. Check out things like wheat. We talk about, food inflation, all these other things. Wheat peaked actually way back in February of this year. That was just a crazy pop-up week, and then sort of went on up and really reached its next high point, a little lower than that prior point, in May, mid-May, and then dropped off up for a few weeks back there in late August through October, and then rotated back over going down. It's trying to push through the 200 EMA. Is that not interesting to see? I think that's very interesting to see. Let me move this back so that we don't see that posted price there in the way. But very interesting. Sugarcane, it again has popped up back, heading up back in April, and then sort of down its most recent high in November, sort of sliding sideways right now. Corn, big feedstock. Again, corn well off its highs, heading down. Silver, which we talked about this last week, same with gold. We saw those booming up this last week, peeling off a little bit this week. Nothing for the day. Gold up 0.27%. And again, it has pushed through its 200 EMA on that weekly chart, pairing off a little bit so far this week, but still looking nice on the STC and on those candles. Things like coffee. Coffee way down from those highs. Been going down for weeks now below the 200 EMA. Copper, again, gives you some ideas what's going on in industry. Of course, way off, starting to gain a little bit, pushing through that 200 EMA. Way off its highs, though. Soybeans, again, another feedstock. What do we see going on there? Well, it is moving up and, still red on the STC, not up at its prior highs, but just an interesting gamut of sort of what's going on in the world markets compared to what you hear with inflation, what you perhaps see in the stores, and of course, what is touted in the news. But to me, the most interesting thing is natural gas just rocketing down. Very interesting. As it gets colder, the price of natural gas going down. Explain that one to me. I don't know. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now, remember, you can practice trade these commodities. You can sure set your charts up. You can do everything that we do with the always winning method using the average true range, set your profit and loss bands. You can look for the charts that work, whether it's the half day, 2-day, or weekly. All those same things can work in these accords. But I do find them interesting to just give us an idea as to what's going on in the real world with real stuff that we consume. That is where we are. Love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. Support us on Patreon. God bless.